What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're back with some more Bad Religion. And indeed, this one is a request. Shout out to Ryan. And it brings up an interesting point. I mentioned to him that my short-term memory isn't great, and I had forgotten about this one. So any of you out there, if you happen to request something or mention an album that I should look at and so on, and then it's a couple weeks later, it seems like I haven't gotten around to it, don't hesitate. Just mention like, hey, just checking in to see if you remember that. I will not be offended at all. I will actually be very appreciative. As I mentioned, sometimes things do slip my mind, so let me know. But yeah, this is a tune from The Gray Race, one of the 4 Atlantic albums. You know, I was thinking about it. I think part of the reason I was initially not remembering the number of Atlantic albums correctly is because the first 2, Stranger Than Fiction, which, like, when I first started doing these reactions, for some reason I was, like, remembering it as an Epitaph album, but it's the first Atlantic album, but Brett was still in the band, which is, I think, part of my confusion. But that one and The Gray Race I know much better than I know, No Substance and New America, or is it the other way around? Is it New America then No Substance? But yeah, I do know these first two Atlantic albums better, but admittedly when Ryan requested this tune, I was thinking like, which one is that again? When I went to do a brief preview of the tune earlier, I was like, oh, of course it's this tune. And what this tune meant in that context is that this is one of the tunes that was used in Crazy Taxi, which, you know, I actually did play that game. Not like one of my all-time favorites, but a very addictive game, and like I did have a Dreamcast, so there you go. It's one of the ones they used. I remember they also used 10 in 2010. It's another great song. So yeah, shout out to that game just for using some legit punk rock, including Bad Religion. So yeah, maybe many people will be familiar with it in that context, but the tune is about a person who like never really like found a moiety to fit in with. He never really sort of like found a group to call his own, and so he began to think about, well, what's an obvious thing that I could find to like find my own people or so on, and he turned to bigotry. Essentially, he came to see other people who are different, and you know, whether for phenotypic reasons like skin color or so on, and he ultimately sees them as the other, them and us, and tries to rally other people to that cause, and tries to, you know, fit it in with this sort of like old fantasy of, you know, perhaps, you know, fitting in with like an ethno like linguistic bigotry, like a sort of, oh, see, we have this Nordic history and so on, and so like they tell themselves these fables to try to justify the way they see the world and other people today. But then the song makes the point that like when it really comes down to it, and they're trying to rally other people to these, you know, hate groups and whatever, they don't really even know what they mean when they're talking about us and them. They don't really even know who us are or who they are. So it's a song about the way in which like anger and a desire to find like a community of your own can sometimes lead people to be bigots, and ultimately to see other people with hate and like again try to like cast it as part of these larger like fables that they tell themselves. So that's what I took away from the tune originally, and then, you know, when I heard it later, it's interesting because it's a very profound tune, but when you're playing a game where you're like rushing around and like speeding through traffic in a like Crazy Taxi, you do sort of like divorce it from the lyrical context a little, and it just becomes more about the sound. So yeah, like I've thought about this song in 2 different contexts, it's fair to say, but nevertheless, let's get to it. This is Bad Religion, Them and Us, from their album The Gray Race, which is 96? Let me see if I have the year right here. Yep, 1996, so here we go. I'm thinking of like that turbo boost thing that you would do. Oh, itchy. Yeah. I want to go to the baseball stadium. I love that. Mindless Believers. And, you know, in general, you could take that just as a way, like, politically, socially, culturally, ethnically. Humans draw lines. Oh, that's us over here. That's not me. It's us and them. And all it does is create fear, mistrust, and consternation. I added the mistrust, but did I mention I really like Greg's voice also? He's got melody. I talk about people with, very distinct voices, Jelly Opera, HR from Bad Brains. Fair to say, Greg has a good, sonic quality of his voice, but he also is very melodic when he sings. Yeah. It's just a nonsense fable that lets you feel good about yourself without actually doing any work. Well, because I'm part of this group, not this other group. And what does that mean? Oh, I don't know what it means, but I know I'm better than them, whoever they are. Mindlessly carrying that dogma. And often an excuse for violence, thinking like that. The oohs and ahs are just perfection. Another masterpiece. Again, what I love about the fact that it was included in a game like that is, it wasn't just like a sort of, vapid, whatchamacallit, pop punk song with sort of, mopey lyrics about a relationship or whatever. And to be clear, I'm not really trashing that. I get it. There are some great songs about emotional experiences, including in relationships in punk rock. But like I said, I do love that the game used some songs by Bad Religion that have some legit social and cultural points to make of significance. So yeah, big ups to that inclusion. And big ups to the album, like I said. This one and Stranger Than Fiction, I really do enjoy those albums, and I think they fit very much with the ones that came before. I don't remember, or I don't know the No Substance and New America albums as well, although I'm thinking, there's one song in particular, I think it's on No Substance, that I really, really am fond of, so I'll have to come back for that one at some point. I haven't hit those albums yet. But I do have some other ones I want to do in more recent albums. I haven't touched True North or Descent of Man or Age of Unreason, so yeah, I got a lot of work to do when it comes to Bad Religion reactions. Again, shout out to Ryan for this request. It was a great idea, and once I sort of did that quick, brief pre-video, reminder, what tune is this? Oh, right, it's this one. I was very excited to do it because it did remind me, hey, I used to have a Dreamcast and I did indeed play Crazy Taxi. So, yeah, let me know if you know the song, originally and through the game, like me, or whether, maybe you just heard it through the game. Yeah, and if there's another Bad Religion song that you'd like to hear reacted to, do shout it out, or any other punk rock reaction. Still here for those. I know some people who maybe found my channel for punk rock or Iron Maiden, whatever, might be damn, you're doing a lot of techno stuff. Originally my other channel, it was 100%, or not 100, it was right toward the end I started branching out a little bit, but it was mainly techno. I'm going to keep doing everything, classical music, punk rock, hip-hop, Iron Maiden reactions, all that. But I am just trying to get a lot of my mixes up on the new channel, because frankly some of the mixes have sort of hit, and some people are really commenting, hey, this is awesome, and I've listened to it at work and whatever. So I'm just trying to balance everything. I will try to get around to everything that has been shouted out or requested, but again, if it seems like I'm slipping a little bit, just remind me and be oh great, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. I really do appreciate it. Have a good day, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.